So
we figured out
my
there was like
record,
13 books last time.
13 in total, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no, 14.
Oh, okay.
Does that include the prequel thin book?
No, that
Okay.
is considered book 0, and I don't have that.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So
Halfway there.
literally, I will, for 1 year and 1 year only, I will be reading, and it will be 14 books in total I will have read so far this
Nice.
year.
That's good.
If I keep up at my current pace of a book a week,
Right.
which,
Considering pull up my
these are
schedule
anywhere
here
between,
and
Right.
they're anywhere between 30 to 45 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I'm literally doing a book a week, so that means I'm doing my second job for 30 to 40 hours a week.
Right.
Because it's the only time I get to actually listen to it. And it's like, oh, that's why I'm not playing video games. That's why I'm not getting stuff done. That's why I'm not doing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
if only they would make it into a TV series so I had something to watch while I was on the bike.
So
Aww.
I watched the first episode
Yeah, you think it was
of
utter
the
garbage?
show like 3 weeks ago, and I didn't mention it because I won't fucking talk about it.
Mm.
That's every fan. It's either
like-
I don't want to talk about it or it's just rage.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, yes, they fucked with Perrin. It's whatever. And like, I was never a Perrin person. Like, I always like Rand. But the more I get through the books, the more I appreciate Matt as being the comic goofball character who turns into the dead serious asshole, essentially.
Mhm.
They did fucking Matt dirty too.
And it only gets worse the more you watch.
It's like, fuck, dude. It's like, I don't know. And I don't want to watch Rings of Power because I'm not interested in anything before fucking Lord of the Rings either.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear the Fallout TV show is pretty good, though.
I heard that was really good.
That's on my radar as something to watch, but it's like, fuck, I'm like 2 seasons through Justified. I need to finish the rest of those, including the mini series Midnight City or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh yeah.
Like, I need to finish all of those, but it's like I said, I get like fucking 20 minutes to do stuff at home between the time I arrive home and then the time it takes to make food, eat food, then get ready for bed. It's like, yeah, I got 20 minutes. What am I going to do? I'm going to do 1 Katamari level, eat, and then go to bed.
There you go.
Yep. Living the dream.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Sure. Really quick, Boston.
Yeah.
Is Redacted actually Redacted, or are we just not talking about that?
That's the name of the game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
confusing at all.
No, I was worried it might be one of those game that must not be named kind of situations.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, too. It's like,
No.
boy, Busted really dug something up on
Yeah,
this.
really hate that game. Not even saying its name. Yeah. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
I don't even know why you have Might Mute if you don't use it while he's counting down.
Who knows?
Hey.
Who knows? Mike Mute is a really great
it was
piece of
pre-show.
software.
It didn't matter. It was fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's the last thing someone hears. It'll be all right.
Yep.
We do have a couple of pieces of news here at the beginning. Let's start off with the TVGP 17th birthday celebration stream. I will put a link. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I wanted to make sure we mention we did live stream that. There is an almost 3-hour video on the YouTube channel. I'll link to that here in the show notes of this show. So go check that out if you want to watch that along with while we're talking about it here in a little bit. There's a brand new episode of Game Club out right now for Paranorma Site. We talked about that. Super spoiler filled. So if you haven't played that game, you can listen to the beginning. We're very clear about when the spoilers start for that one. The next game here, and the final game for 2024, is going to be Life is Strange Double Exposure, the brand new game that comes out this week. We'll be talking about for this month on Game Club here. And let's start off with putting a plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and the numbers.
$5 a month tier is the recommended one. Big note here, though, thanks to Apple, the way that people are getting billed is going to be changed on Patreon starting in November. So this also goes for any app you use on iOS or Android, but especially going forward, the Patreon app. Don't sign up for anything in an app. It is always going to cost you more per month, per year, per quarter, whatever. Patreon is going to that model where they're sort of offsetting their costs by increasing the price of signing up for becoming a patron in either the iOS or Android app. So if you're going to sign up for someone like our Patreon page, please go do so via a web browser. That will get you the price that we intend to charge instead of the $5 plus whatever stuff has to get tacked on top of it. So that's coming down the pipe here fairly shortly in November for not only this show, but probably the majority of things you're subscribing to on Patreon. So keep that in mind. Nothing I can do about it unless I want to say no one can sign up for the Patreon anymore, which is a bad solution. So that's sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place there. But if you're a patron, if you'd like to become a patron, like I said, the $5 tier is the recommended one. That gets you everything. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. You get the exclusive uncensored Outcast every week. So we're talking about everything sort of above and beyond anything else in our lives that isn't video games, except for this week where we talk about a lot of video games. So that's not very common for the Outcast, but every once in a while
But it's not us. It's not us playing video games.
That's
it's
true.
Our families playing a video
That's
game.
right. That's right. You also get early access to We Rogue Like It and Critical Misses. The $5 tier or higher, you get exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting, which we should have one coming up in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks here at the end of season 31, the
Sure.
Deadpool season. Hopefully everybody enjoys that season. That is a wild one for the books. And you also get exclusive access to Wayward Sons, which is a supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and Nimp are going through. All of that and more, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
All right, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
So honestly, it's pointless even pulling up a video for this at first because I've only got one big thing to talk about, which we're all going to have a conversation about.
Mm-hmm.
Played a skosh of We Heart Katamari. I finished the main story, so now I've just got to go through and redo all of the levels that have multiple goals.
Okay.
And then also collect the cousins and the presents from every single one of those levels too.
Right.
So that is my current project with We Heart Katamari. I'm literally doing it a level a day because that is the time I have for it.
Right.
Is that going to wrap up all your achievements for it?
Eventually, yeah, but there sure is 50 cousins, one on every single level and variable and all this other kind of stuff that you need to get the stuff for, so that's fun. The one good thing is when you select a level, it looks like it has question mark boxes for what you haven't found in the level, so I don't have to go through every level and figure out if I've got that cousin or not. I can just look on like the level select and it should tell me if I have or haven't, which I think is a quality of life improvement from the original release. But either way, it's fun. I like rolling up dumb stuff and then listening to the stupid sound effects. Also, Boston, my sincerest apologies.
Mm-hmm.
I play a lot of video games with headphones on, and I was not a huge fan of this soundtrack originally, so I just ignored it. I have started playing it with the soundtrack on, and I forgot how much smooth jazz Katamari was in there in this game.
Oh yeah, it's real good.
It's a really good soundtrack.
It's those first two games are back to back really great. The other ones I think have some really good tracks in them, but I think 1 and 2 are just the whole soundtrack is killer.
And the fact that like the soundtrack in this just leans into the whole premise of the game, which is all about how much people love Katamari.
Yes.
Like that's
it's like a KMFDM
it's
song. They're going to
great.
talk about how cool KMFDM is in their own song.
I don't know who that is, but okay. But yes, we Heart Katamari still remains fantastic. Like Boston said, I played a lot of the GameCube game. I only played a skosh of the Wii roguelike game this week, unfortunately. Again, time being what it is. I did sit down and play 3 hours worth of Lethal Company, though.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, boy.
Birthday celebration. Thank you for everyone that came out.
Giant shout out, to everybody who came out, everybody who joined in. I forgot names already, so I'm not even going to go into that. Boston, are you playing from the stream here?
I'm playing the archive stream. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were doing ours or somebody else's in here.
No, it's ours. We had Modern was out, Torek was out, or came to play with us. We had Bill, we had
Hannah, Rob,
Hannah,
me, you.
Yep. We had at
Ash.
its highest, we had 9 people in this game, which was
And
uncontrollable chaos. It's so the game, when you generate a level and it like shows you the seed on screen, that went okay until it had to return back to the game, and the game was just crumbling under its own weight. It's just like
it would stutter and hitch for like maybe about 5 seconds, and then it would be fine.
Yeah.
Especially as we separated and dispersed and went all of our separate ways. I'm also a big fan of the variety of personalities we had. Like we had the crazy people who like the more complicated levels. That's me. And Bill would be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Rend," and me and Bill will be jumping around going, "Yay!" And in the background, I just hear Boston and Ash go, "Oh."
You had me, the key master, the master of the keys.
Yes.
Yep. Love my keys.
It was. I kind of like the new mod setup. I'm not gonna lie. I like the fact that there's no mimics. It's a small tweak on what we were originally playing with. Like I just removed a couple of things which was slightly more punishing, made it a little bit more friendly. But with that amount of people, like it kind of needed to be, because there was just stuff happening all the time.
There's already enough chaos in the game. There are our least favorite enemy this time was the crummy baby, just to keep it PG here. That's like the worst enemy. Sorry, the second worst enemy in the entire game at the moment. We also...
You found the screaming man, didn't you?
It's this... I usually don't get scared by this game. I find this game like fun scary. It's like you get a little bit of a jump scare because something is coming at you. Everybody laughs in the room where everyone's dead, and you're just like, "Oh, that was all right. A spider got all 5 of us. That's great." Or, when there
tin
was
soldier in that room.
Dude, that tin soldier was cleaning house.
It took out 5 of us in no time flat. There was a silent thumper at some point, but the screaming man in the asylum. That was something that genuinely frightened me in this game. I don't know what it is. I barely remember what it looks like. I don't want to see it or deal with it ever again in my entire life.
So that is a modded monster. That is, and I pointed it out while we were playing. That is the specific monster, and it's burned in my memory. And Rob made fun of me for remembering this, but that's the monster where we came in one week. We talked about it on the show, and I was like, I saw this thing and it scared me. And then Rob was making fun of me.
Oh, the little baby got scared by some polygons.
Exactly. The very next week, he ran into it and had the exact same reaction, and I was like, "See, now you know how I feel."
It's the combination of... Oh, by the way, the killer Tin Man is here on the screen. It's the combination of it being too big, too lanky, and just emits the most terrifying scream I've heard in my life. Like your lizard brain takes over, and it's like, "Nope, gotta go. I can't perceive that. I need to leave. No, thank you."
Yeah, it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like it
The
was.
worst part would be too when somebody did discover an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was 9 of us, you had 9 different people running in 9 different directions, and you didn't know where the enemy actually was.
So one of my favorite instances of that, I felt a little bit bad about it, but I didn't really. At some point, Moon and I were together, which was pretty uncommon, and we both run across what's the thing you pull out of the wall? The
apparatus.
The apparatus, thank you. Run across the apparatus, and Moon's like, I think we should pull it. And I was like, I'm going to pull it. Let's do this. I never do this. I always leave the apparatus alone. And Moon has a mod where basically you need 2 people to pull it out. Talked about this before. You need 2 people to pull it out, and as soon as it happens, the place starts exploding. You have a 2-minute countdown, and so the whole thing goes nuclear, essentially. The chaos that I could hear from 7 other people all around me in this small facility. As soon as I pulled it, so many people, 3 people are like, "Oh my god!" and a bunch of people, "No, there's a monster! It's exploding!" Just 7 other people, and Moon and I are like, "Yes!" It's the only terrible part of that.
My favorite part of that whole sequence as well was like you pull it. It's me and you were by ourselves, like. Everyone else is nearby, but on the other side of walls, so we can't see anything. And everyone's being pretty quiet because everyone is pretty quiet. The second that gets pulled, everyone goes loud.
Just
and
chaos.
You've got Bill just yelling "yes" through the wall, and then like 2 other people going, "Bill, why?"
That's
and it
right.
wasn't even him. And then everybody else panicking.
It was a really great time.
I think the Hannah said it at one point, like, with mods and everything else, this game is so much goofier.
Yeah.
Like, it is still scary. It still has its scary moments.
Yeah.
Like, but I think I talked about it way back in, like, January. When you do, like, the first set of moons, like, the monsters that show up there are, like, the physical fears. Spiders, things like that. When you do the back set of moons, like your Rend, your Dan, your Titan, that's the more head space kind of fears that it plays with. Like, I haven't seen the little girl in so long because I haven't been to Rend consistently for a while. And it's like seeing everyone's different reactions to all those different things all at once. It's just so entertaining, even if like it did struggle at times. And I made potentially the biggest mistake of my life and put a casino at the store.
That was the thing that threatened to derail this entire thing. As soon as 4 people saw it and their eyes lit up, and they found themselves propelled towards it immediately.
Yes, I'm not gonna point any fingers, Rob, or name names, Rob. But several of us may have addiction problems, and putting that there was just hilarious because you could tell, like, I knew it was there and I was curious to try it out, but I was like, okay, as long as we hit the quota, I don't care. But the problem is you gamble with the value of the scrap that you're holding.
Right, which is really an interesting way of doing it.
Yes, and then it's like, okay, as long as we hit quota, I'm fine. Like, gamble all you want, especially if you make a profit and then suddenly we've got an extra 1,000, to spend on teleporters.
Yeah.
Project number 1: buy a teleporter when there's 9 people, just so you can get them bodies back. Like,
well, dude,
but
even having that friendly mod on that you did was very helpful too.
Oh, the AI one, yes.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, because I got scared the bejesus out of me by a spider.
The friendly teleporter.
No, yeah, the friendly teleporter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Because there were a couple times where I was hanging out at the ship and I was just teleporting people back who I saw were like off the map, fell down a hole, were being chased by something, so I just teleported them back and they kept everything they had.
Yeah, one map I fell down a hole and died, except it brought me to the back rooms I was trapped in.
It did that to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and I got saved by being teleported by Nim. So, like, I mean, that's really cool. Like, I think that the friendly teleporters mod is actually pretty solid too. Like, I really actually enjoyed having that there.
Came in very handy at the space station, which was a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah, immediately.
Yes. Whatever that thing was, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was one of the modded moons. It's like, I don't know, I'm just going to put a couple of additional moons in here.
Yeah.
I like this game. I like the modding scene.
Mhm.
I like how much fun it is, and I think I talked about it in January, or February, when I was playing it every single week. There was a couple of times where I haven't laughed that much while playing a video game
Oh yeah.
in years. Years and years and years. I was going to say, is this you falling into the lava I'm about to see on the video? Yes, it was
Slid
indeed.
right into the lava, man. Yep. I would like for us to do a celebration event every year. It might not be Lethal Company next year. There might be something similar to this, that kind of the large multiplayer chaos that might exist next year. But if you weren't able to make it for this one, definitely watch the archive. It's we get, thankfully, because of how Lethal Company works, we get multiple perspectives as I inevitably die. But if you can make
and
this
also
one...
I've got a VOD up as well on Twitch of mine too.
Perfect.
So you could have two windows open and play them both from around the same time, and you'll have two different perspectives and everything else.
Right. Yeah, so we'll try and do, if you couldn't make it this year, we'll try and do one again next year, and we'll see what game we can figure out what to do then. But yeah, this was a blast.
If you're interested in playing this, we don't play every week anymore. We tend to play every 2 weeks, specifically when Bills is available, because I know he's having fun playing this based on how he reacts every time we play it. So we play it every 2 weeks. If you want to jump in, there's an LFG channel. I literally posted all of the instructions for this setup. Probably going to be using this loadout for a while.
It's a very cool one.
Yeah, after we finished playing, I did jump back in. I messed around with the stamina mod and everything else and tweaked all that kind of stuff. So it does seem to be the stamina mod is fixed now too.
Oh, nice.
Because I had the stamina mod installed, but for whatever reason, it was giving us the basic stamina stuff. So I went in, I did a bunch of tweaking with a bunch of different things. And yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much laughter, so much cursing, so much insults, everything.
Shenanigans abound.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it was really good. So like we've been talking about recently, if you don't have...
that was the moment, wasn't
it?
It was.
The chaos.
This is me and you stealing the thing.
If you don't have it, Lethal Company is $10. It's really easy to get all the mods set up with R2 Modman. If you have trouble with it, please post in the LFG channel in the Discord. One of us will come help you.
I'm more than happy to help.
And it's a blast. You can hop in whenever you want, hop out whenever you want. You don't have to commit to
you don't have
2
to
or
be there
3
from
hours
start
or
to
whatever.
finish.
Yeah.
We get some people, Torek occasionally shows up for an hour. You get Bills tends to be there early but leave earlier as well.
Right.
Nimp is whether or not he can get access to his PC or not. Just fluctuates every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was you don't understand the fight that my wife and I had over who got to play Sims or who got to play Lethal Company.
Right.
It's always on the edge of divorce.
Yeah, so definitely it was a blast, and thank you everyone again for everyone that came out to celebrate this show's upcoming 17th birthday, and we'll do it again. We do it,
which I think was yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was the 25th or 26th, something like that. So
26th, I believe it was.
Show's officially 17 years old. Yay!
Yep,
and it's episode 888, so make a wish. So
yeah, it was fun. It was great. Again, if you're interested in playing on a more frequent basis, hit me up. I'm happy to help. Like I said, we play every 2 weeks. It's my dedicated gaming time at the moment is Friday nights every 2 weeks because we can get everybody in. Nimp, I hope to see you in 2 weeks too. Hopefully Justin can get his PC fixed and then we can get him back in because I need more chaos people in my life apparently. Bill's is bad enough as a chaos agent.
Because Bill buried an axe in the back of my head.
I wasn't going to talk about that, but if you
I'll bring it up right now.
He's a traitor. That's fine.
Oh, because I went instant revenge, but it wasn't let me kill everyone. No, I had a slow simmering burn for the rest of the match. Because I think we were an hour and a half in, and then the rest of us
you
playing...
also took off and killed us all.
Oh, yeah, I did. So that was because you guys were at the casino, and I was tired of waiting for you all, so I told the ship to go and left you all there and died. I was, let's see, every time we got an apparatus, I would get rid of it off of the ship, which is why everyone was like, huh, I thought we had more money on the ship. I would never screw us to the point that we didn't have enough money to not make the next day, but I definitely made it a lot harder than it needed to be. All those plushies where you guys were like, huh, apparently if we devalue an item, it gets rid of it. No, that was me. I took every plushie off the ship and threw it off the side, and nobody noticed until we left. Yeah.
That explains that, at least.
Yeah. So there were little odds and ends things where people were like, that's weird. I wonder why the game's doing this. It wasn't the game. It was me.
It was me.
And all because you got an axe in the back.
But, like I said, though, I was also helping out with the transporter and transporting people back to the ship before they died when I noticed it, because I had to flip through 9 different fields of view to figure out what was happening. So, yeah. So yeah, it wasn't all total chaos, but I definitely was not helping after a certain point.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fun. Join in. I know Hannah mentioned he might try and jump in on a Friday. If you're available, Hannah, send me a message. Let me know. And I think I have everybody on my friends list now, so that should be problem solved for that issue.
Right.
We noticed, Torek, you would have been in earlier, but we all realized that none of us had you on our friends list.
That's right.
Right after Moon said, hey, I'm going to use the bathroom. Invite Torek when you get back, or when he gets on.
No.
And we were like, none of us have him on our Steam friends list.
Yep. But it was fun at Lethal Company. It's weeks like this that reinvigorate my love for the game, kind of thing, where it's just like we've been on a bit of a
Slump.
just like the same thing, because it's the same 4 people playing every 2 weeks kind of thing, and then suddenly we get this huge injection of new people, new mods, new layout, new everything, and it's just like, okay, yeah, I genuinely love this game. It was robbed, I will say. Almost 11 months ago, it was robbed. Yeah, I love that game. But that's literally all I've been playing. Mr. Nimp, take us away.
All right, I have one super quick one that we don't have to pull a video up. I played the demo for AI Limit. This is a new anime Souls-like kind of thing. Okay. Seems pretty all right. I have no other news about it outside of that. So that's why this is quick. The demo is only like an hour and a half long. Okay. So I blew through that, and I was like, all right, cool. When that comes out, I guess I will check it out.
I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know how I heard of it. Yeah, I have no clue how I even knew that this was going to be a thing. Because I only heard about it recently. I'm like, oh, and there's a demo. Let me download it. So yeah, there's a free demo out on Steam and PlayStation right now. So check it out. Seems interesting.
Yeah.
My next game, Unicorn Overlord.
Ah, yes.
I am at the final boss in this game.
Oh, okay.
This final boss sucks.
Oh man. RPGs.
Horrifically. I am not going to talk about the story, but I am going to spoil the final map.
Okay.
So if no one wants to know about that, go ahead and skip to the next game. But so once you've done everything else, the last map they have up, they suggest you being level 40 for this. Okay, so I did a bunch of grinding, upgraded a bunch of weapons and stuff like that. Jump into this map, and what happens is you have a town at the center of the map, and it gets covered in miasma. And your first objective is, okay, we have to take out these 4 different generals, and once you've taken out all 4 of them, it will get rid of that.
Okay.
All right, cool. Obviously, because it's the final battle in this game, like it's these generals and just like tons of units everywhere. It's like, all right, cool. So I go over and I start figuring out the map because there is so much going on. I was playing with like 2 times or 3 times speed, whatever it was. I had to shut that off because there were so many things moving at once. I couldn't keep up with what was happening.
Right.
So finally got to the point where got to the last general, took them out, the miasma clears, and then the boss, the guy that you've been after this entire time, finally shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not a spoiler because you learn about this within like the first hour of playing the game. This guy that you've been after has the ability to control people's minds. And
right.
And throughout the game, you are releasing this mind control from people, and you're finding out that the person that you've just released, they have no idea what they've been doing for the last 10 years. It's like, I remember doing this, and then here we are 10 years later.
Right.
So they have no idea what's happened. When that boss shows up, the first thing it does is it mind controls every friendly unit you have on the field except for the main character's unit.
Oh. Okay.
Which means everybody turns into an enemy.
Great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The unit that the main character is in, they get an ability that clears that. I forget what they actually call it now, but yeah, it's basically you can clear the mind control from a unit, and it's an AoE thing, and it's decently sized. So if you have a couple units grouped together, you can proc that, and then those units are fine and back under your control.
Mm-hmm.
The problem being was that I had 3 flying units and my main character unit. Like, I had all 10 units out, but specifically I had like 3 of my heavy hitting units right next to the main character unit. And I am too good at setting up units because they wiped each other out.
Oh, no.
And I could not clear other people of the mind control,
man.
so it was instant game over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this sucks. Restart the battle. I get all the way back down to around 1 general down for clearing the miasma. I'm like, okay, everyone goes back and you merge, like you de-deploy out of the game. Everyone's out. I've got the 1 hero unit. They go in, they take out that last general. The boss shows up. I don't have to worry about anything. There's like a 3rd friendly faction that shows up that gets mind controlled. I don't care about them because they're on the other side of the map at this point. So I'm like, cool. Now I can pull out my other units because it's already done its thing. I don't have to worry about it anymore. To get to the boss, they are in a fortified town, and you have to knock down the door. And normally there's like a battering ram, like siege weapon or something that you can use. I didn't see one on the map. There are catapults and ballistas on the map that you could use, but everything's just far enough out that you can't use it on that door. So I had to keep ramming my forces into the door to get this stupid thing to break. And then I could get into the town. And this is when I found out that the boss can now selectively, like, it's basically a like a cone effect, AoE effect, where he can point in a direction, and any units in that direction, he can instantly mind control.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I'm like, cool. So I'm still not out of this yet. You still have the skill, so I was like, okay, I'll clear those. But as I finally work my way to this final boss, I go up to attack him. None of my units are doing a whole lot of damage to him. I go from doing 600, 900 points of damage, you know, full scale against a whole other squad, unit, whatever, to I attack this boss and I'm doing like 12, 13 damage. And the kicker is every time you fight him, afterwards he regenerates 150 health.
Oh my god.
So not only am I doing negligible damage, he is completely healing after each fight.
Right.
And he gets all these bonuses because he's garrisoned up in a town, so he gets like 50% bonus to his defense. He gets that health regeneration. And there's something else. There's some other bonus that he gets as well. I'm like, oh my god, what is going on? Like, I can't beat him.
Right.
Look at his level. The boss is actually a level 45, even though the suggested level for this mission is 40. I'm like, okay, let me bump this down to story mode and see if that makes a difference. Absolutely not.
Of course.
I'm like, great. Look up online. Is there a gimmick? Is there something that I'm missing?
Right.
That I should be taking those generals out in a specific
order. Am I supposed to be using the ring from the intro of the game as an item?
Something. Nope, there's nothing. There's one point that someone says, oh yeah, this is the get good moment of the game, and that guy got double fingers in the game FAQs
He got
forums
roasted
by everybody. Yeah.
yeah,
Because this isn't a get good situation. This is a very straight up incline in difficulty that was not present at any point in this game. Like I said, I had heavy hitters that were doing just fine until I got to the actual final boss unit.
right.
And then it's like I haven't been playing this game for like 70 hours, you know?
Well, and also by this point in the game, you feel like you've figured out the puzzle. Like you have all the complementary units and the complementary squads, and like you have this force that should just kind of roll through the rest of the game, and for it to kind of continually throw a bunch of what feels like randomness at you is frustrating.
And I don't like I was angry when my units decimated themselves by mind control, but I was like, you know what? This was a known thing.
Right.
Fine, whatever. You know, I can restart this fight. But the fact that I'm not doing any damage to this boss after all the investment that I already have in it, and then looking on stuff online, everyone's like, well, you really need to be using your support classes and the support abilities. And I'm like, yeah, you don't get to the end of the boss, you know, the in-game boss, if you're not using those two. Like, you literally cannot not use those to get this far in the game. But then people are starting to break down. It's like, well, you should have this specific unit with this specific build. It's like, I'm not min-maxing this to be the final boss right now.
Especially when you didn't need to do that for any of the rest of the game.
Yeah, and the setup that I have, there's nothing wrong with the units I have. It's just they want you to fight this one boss in a very specific way, and that's not the way I've played this game for the last 70 hours. And there was no reason to play it in, you know, that way.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with the game. I'm at the end of the game. Currently can't beat it right now. Will probably get to it later. But it just kind of killed me wanting to keep playing it right now.
Yeah, it really takes the wind out of your sails of like, all right, I'm just going to wrap this up. And the game's just, nope.
Yep. So one day I will get back to it, but for right now, it's like, nah, I'm done with it for now because I have other games that have come out that I would like to play. The other game that I'm going to talk about is East 10 Nordics.
Oh, yeah.
I have not gotten very far in this game because it came in very late. You know, hurricanes and stuff like that, cleanup efforts, all of that. So I've only been able to play, I think, like 2, maybe 3 hours of this game. Playing on the PS5. This game takes place, like I said last time, this is like the third entry into the series if you don't count origin. Yeah, chronologically.
Right.
This takes place just before Salsetta, which I believe is the fourth game, if I'm remembering correctly. You are on a ship which gets taken over by pirates. Because your captain didn't pay the protection fee. Instead, they decided to get mercenaries. So captain ends up getting killed, and you guys get brought to an island, and you're free to go. The pirates don't have any issues with you. They had issues with the captain trying to skirt the prior, negotiations that were already set up. So now you're on this island, and you're like, well, crap. We only had enough money to get to Salsetta, and we already spent that money, so we kind of need to make money to continue on our journey. So you have Doji, who is the blue-haired guy with the fists, who follows Adolf for most of the games. And then you also have a doctor from the island from East 1 and 2. Who happened to follow you because he's looking for a specific plant, which was supposed to be in Salsetta.
Okay.
So those two characters are following you from 1 and 2 into this game. As you get into this town, you get a little bit of exploring. And they're like, hey, luckily, the harbor needs help. Doji goes there, he gets a job. The militia's looking for people. Adel's really good with the sword, so you go for the militia. And things just start going sideways. Weird monsters start showing up. You can't attack them with regular weapons. You get this whole thing about mana and fighting a pirate princess, and that's as far as I've gotten in this game.
Okay. Goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. I am really enjoying the music for this. It is all just wood flutes, and drums and just harps, and it is right back to like, oh yeah, bring me back to like original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, where it's like all very minimal soundtracks and stuff. It is great. I love the music in this series. And then just the explorations, like you're filling in a map that like the whole map just has a fog of war over it, and it clears as you're exploring. And that's exactly what you did in Salsetta, was you clear the map to 100%. You get rewards every time you hit certain points of clearing the map. And I'm hoping it's the same thing, because I wasted so much time clearing that stupid map when I got to like 99.97%, and I'm trying to find these last 0.03% of the map that I didn't uncover. But yeah, so far it's been fun. I had to remap the controls, which that's the other great thing about this game. You can completely remap the controls. So I didn't like the way the buttons were set up. Completely moved everything around, and now it's feeling more in line with what I was thinking the buttons should be for this. So that's all I have to say right now, because like I said, it came in super late, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to sit with it. So my next game that I was playing until this one came out, and is maybe a good turning point, is I played Metaphor ReFantazio.
I played that this week as well.
Okay, so here we go. Surprisingly, the controls for Metaphor are almost exactly what I switched over the controls in Ys before, because I was already playing Metaphor, and I'm like, no, I'm already used to dodge being this button, attack being this button, and that's how I feel they should be anyway. So it's like, let me just switch that over to that. So I am up to the point where an assassination attempt has already failed, and I'm trying to go through a crypt. According to my son, that is not even the end of the demo yet.
I've gotten to the point where I got through, from where I was before, I went through like a field dungeon, and I went through like a straight shot mine dungeon. I did a kind of a boss fight there, and then Stroll, your kind of British prince guy, did his whole like heart-ripping persona, that thing. And I just unlocked because I didn't have any time this week, I just unlocked the job system, which is definitely going to be a problem for me, because it seems 100%. Pretty cool. So we talked about this a little bit on the last episode of Pup, but I really like that Metaphor does the thing that more JRPGs are doing, and I wish more did in general, where you're in an open field, you see all the enemies as you run across them. You can slash them a couple times, and they'll fly away, and you hit the triangle button, and the whole party jumps in and does like an opportune attack and does a little bit of extra damage. But if you're way stronger than the enemies in the field and you slash them to start a fight, it just kills them on the field and just gives you all the resources. So like in this field dungeon you run into, it's basically the second dungeon you do. There's like 5 or 6 of these wolf things in front of you. You slash all of them. It's like, yeah, man, good job. You got 10 XP, you got a bunch of money, and just keep on running. And I really wish more JRPGs did that, because at some point you might be back there even looking for stuff, or maybe just over-leveled in the previous area. Cool. You can just one-shot all these wolves. Whatever. Like, it doesn't... You don't even have to worry about them. So that's
great. And this is also the system that... Trails just switched to.
Oh, nice.
With Days just recently as well. So these are both similar enough. They're a little different, but they're pretty much the exact same system. So yeah, that's what I'm enjoying. Where it's like you have that, either you can do an action version of this, or you can do the command version of this, or you can mix the two, where it gives you an advantage where you start in action and then you get the advantage once you go into command.
I also did have my first ambush by an enemy. They were right in front of me, but I didn't realize that as you slash them to weaken their defenses, at some point they're just going to lunge at you if you don't do it fast enough. So they lunged at me, and there's an incredible tooltip that popped up for tutorials. Like, when an enemy gets an advantage, they attack first, and they get to do damage to your entire party. that's considered bad. And I was like, okay, thank you. I was sort of picking that up when my whole party got damaged. Thank you so much.
I had that with the actual map that you have up in the video with the bird enemies.
Yeah.
I went to dodge, but I dodged into a rock, so my character just rolled in place, and then we got attacked by a bird. And I'm like, oh my god, come on.
Yeah.
I do wish the camera was just out just a little bit more, just slightly more, not a whole lot, but there may be an option. I haven't messed with the options, but I don't know if there's a way to adjust that or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this game. Did you fight the dragon in the mines?
No.
Because there's when you're in the mines, there's a part where you find a dragon, and you can either choose to sneak past it, or you can fight it.
No, I don't think maybe that's after what I'm doing now. Did I finish? I don't remember if I finished the mines or not. Maybe that'll be my next fight, because I only had like maybe an hour to play this week. And a lot of that was fighting this big story boss who felt really good to completely murder. I'm not going to lie to you.
But was it the one?
Is the big
dude?
guy. Yeah. From the intro.
Yeah.
It's a very like, he's such a good villain at the beginning, because it's very much like, I don't really care what happens to all of you soldiers that are going to die face down in the mud. It's literally not my problem. I ran away because I'm not dumb and I'm still alive. And it's like, well, this dude's got to die for sure.
Yes.
But right after that, I think was basically like, oh, you can, here's the introduction to the job system, because you got an additional job from Stroll when he does his Persona thing. He has an additional job, and then you kind of get one from Moore, the Igor equivalent in this game. And then it very unceremoniously gives it to, what's his name, Gaius, the like Scottish guy that is in your party, and he only gets like, he doesn't even get a cool cutscene or anything. He's been the one in the story that's wanted this power for decades and decades. He just gets a text box that's like, this power is true. It's finally within my grasp. Anyways, I'm a mage. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, that's a bit I feel bad for this guy, but yeah, he's got the Persona powers too, so sure.
Yeah. You will have that dragon fight coming up. I would suggest giving it a shot, because I did fight it and beat it, and you get a really good sword for whoever you make your warrior that I would equip.
Oh, okay.
So, because it's better than anything you can buy, even up to the point that I'm at, and I'm not much further than you are right now. Right. So
I do really like the unlock system they have for jobs too. It's basically a grid that's over the Vitruvian Man. Essentially, each job has its own kind of hex area, and then the skills are sort of going out from that, which seems interesting. I read something the other day too about, they did something interesting for the job system that I don't really understand yet, but sounds like even when you max out the job, you still continue to earn whatever currency it is to unlock more things. So even if you find a job you really like, you don't get punished for sticking with a job you like, because most of these games you get to level 20 in that job and you stop earning whatever it is because they want you to switch to another job, and you're like, no man, I'm like one-shotting everything with dark magic. Why would I switch to another job? Like, that's crazy. And it sounds like they've found
talking
a cool
about the magi
that. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not it.
So no, magi you get a lot with, you get that every battle, no matter what. It's like a pool that you get. It's right there with like the currency.
Right.
I'm wondering too, because they refer to each, like the seeker job that you get. They refer to that as being in the seeker tree. So I wonder, and there's like another hexagon right next to it with a question mark in it, showing that there is something else after that job. So I'm wondering if even if you don't move, but you're in that tree, if that tree keeps developing, or holding more XP for the next job or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not far enough to know any of that.
Right.
So.
I'm really hoping to dive into this this week. I have another kind of busy week, but with Game Club game behind me, and I have a couple days here before I start the next one. I'm hoping to have a little bit more time to really dive into this, because I'm really enjoying it. It has all of the hallmarks of a great Atlas game. Voice acting is great. Graphically looks really cool. The world is neat. The soundtrack is killer, of course. It all seems, and everybody that plays it, kind of keeps getting deeper and deeper into it. It's just like, yeah, you need to play this RPG. It's incredible. So
that's also why I think I want to play this a little bit more than East, only because I don't have to worry about getting spoiled on East.
Exactly,
This game seems to have blown up in such a way that a lot of people who don't normally play JRPGs are now checking this one out, and I'm like,
That's what I'm also really concerned about with Life is Strange Double Exposure, especially because it's a sequel to the first Life is Strange. I know people will just be like, all right, I hated this game. It's because of spoiler. It's like, oh my God, it's been out for 2 hours. What are you guys doing? So, yeah, same with this RPG. And also, it's been a great year for RPGs. I just kind of want to sink my teeth into another just big old turn-based RPG.
Yeah, if we don't get any game releases next year, I'm already pretty set.
Yeah.
I'm pretty set with games to play.
Yeah, like stuff I've already purchased, nevertheless, things that are on my giant list of cool games this year.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. Like you were saying, I've just got to a point where I can also... Basically, any skills that you unlock in a class, you can spend some of that Magi currency and make that unlock. So that way, even if you switch, like if you're playing a mage and you were using the ice ability from that mage class, you can unlock that skill, switch to warrior, and then you can put that ice skill in there for the warrior to use.
Oh, perfect! I love
there's a lot of
the
mixing and matching and stuff. It's like, this is gonna make for some broken things down the road.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm loving it. So
yeah, me too.
I can't wait to play more.
Yeah.
And that's all I got this week.
The only other thing I have to talk about this week is Balatro. Trying to complete my first gold stake, and I am having so much trouble. It's so hard. I have gold stake unlocked on 2 decks, if I remember correctly. I think it's the blue deck and the abandoned deck, I believe. Part of the problem is a problem of my own making, where I'm bouncing between decks because I don't have all of the decks fully unlocked. So there's a couple of decks like the Anaglyph deck where I've maybe completed the first stake, the red stake, and I've gotten almost nowhere in. So I'm trying to make my way through some of those decks as well. But God, the layers of RNG you have for these for gold deck is especially tough, because as you start going through, the stakes start pretty easy, where it's like, oh, the small blind doesn't give you any money. All right, that's not that bad. Sometimes it's advantageous to just skip that, get a better benefit at the shop, and you're not really losing anything anyways. And then it's like, oh, well, the amount of chips you need to have to beat each round in each ante grow faster. Okay, that's not that bad. I've got my decks that I really like. I know all this synergy is great. Then they start introducing eternal jokers, which are jokers that when you buy or they enter your kind of lineup of jokers, you can't destroy them, you can't sell them, they can't be destroyed by anything else, anything like that. Okay, that's fine. There are a lot of eternal jokers you want to have anyways. It's always funny to see an eternal egg as well. The egg increases its sell value every time you clear a round, so eventually you want to sell that thing for like $40 or $50, but you can't sell it because it's eternal. So that's always funny. And you're like, oh, that's fine. There's ways to get around that. But then when you start dealing with perishable jokers and rental jokers, that's when it starts getting really nasty. And this is where the game has sort of diverged from its original stakes, because when the game came out originally, at the higher stakes you had, the smaller your hand would be, so you wouldn't have 9 cards available for you. By the time you get to golden stake, you'd have 7 or 6, and it would start taking away hands from you, so the number of hands you can play per round would lessen. Local Thunk, the developer, sort of found that a little bit too punitive once more and more people started getting their hands on it, which I agree. So he started introducing rental jokers, which are jokers you can buy for the regular price, but after 5 rounds you play with them, they get debuffed. So they're useless at that point. Thankfully, you can still sell them to recoup a little bit of the cost, so it's not like they just get kicked out of your deck. The rental ones are the really rough ones, though. Those are the ones that cost you $3 per round. So having them in your lineup of jokers, you might get one that's really super powerful, but every single round, that's going to cost you $3. Which isn't really that bad, but at that point, when you're, not making any money, because all the stakes are additive, so you're dealing with higher chip counts for 2 different ways. You're dealing with, small blind doesn't make you any money. All of that stuff is adding up together. So, you're at the point where, you have a really strong set of jokers and your runs are going really well, but maybe every time you play a round, you're losing $9 and you're making 3 back. So you're kind of like always in the hole and not able to continue to grow your stuff. So that's the stuff that I have the hardest with. A lot of that, like in any roguelike, is just you're kind of at the whims of RNG. So you're going to get a really great run that, it's okay. I've got one where I have a super small deck, but every time I play, like every time I discard a high card, it makes that hand stronger, and I'm just going to lean into that and kind of build around that, and that's a winning run. But a lot of times it's just like, cool, shop after shop all the way to Ante 4 has just been garbage. I have nothing going for me, and I can't beat the boss of Ante 4. And that's okay. That's, like we talk about in We Roguelike It a lot, losing is part of the game and is part of the fun. And this still really is a roguelike. And it's still going to kind of mess with you and from an RNG standpoint pretty frequently. So I'm still having fun with it, which is a large part of why I'm still playing it. If I wasn't having fun with it, I would drop it pretty quickly and just be like, stupid card game, get out of here with stupid cards. But even losing, it's the best designed roguelikes have this, where even when you're losing, you're learning something. You're like, okay, that run didn't go well. Even though I had 5 really strong jokers, I didn't invest in buying cards that had effects on them, or I wasn't upgrading my the level of my hands that I'm playing. Like, there's a lot of runs where everything has to sort of rise at the same time. You can't just focus on, oh, well, here's 5 jokers that are really great, but as the requirements raise sort of ante over ante, you're not keeping up with them because you're ignoring kind of the other 2 spokes of that wheel. So it's cool. I like Balatro. I still love that song. What is it, 8 months into this year, that song is still a banger. My kid hates it. It's so funny. Like, whenever I turn the music up a little bit, she's like, no, it's the worst. It's like, yeah. Ba, 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 ba,
That
ba,
music
ba.
means my daddy's going to start yelling at the TV.
No, Balatro is like one of the few games that, like, even when I lose, I really don't get frustrated, because either RNG just completely messed you up in a way that you weren't able to win from, or I just did the dumbest thing possible, where it's like, there's one boss where it's like you have to play 5 cards every time, and I play 2 pair almost like the majority of the time, or it's like you have to play the same hand for the entire boss fight. A lot of times it'd be like, yeah, play 2 pair, great. Oh, here's a perfect straight, I'm gonna play that, and the game's like, nope. You gotta play the same hand back to back. It's like, oh, I had no margin of error. That was so stupid. So a lot of it is like, yeah, that's on me. I lost this round for myself. Good job, buddy. You messed it up for yourself. So I don't know. I still love Balatro.
Roguelike way.
Yeah, if you haven't played Balatro, it's so good. The mobile version is really great. I haven't played the PC version. I assume that's really great. The console versions are all really good. Balatro is so good. Oh, I want to go play more Balatro. All right. Anyways, that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
All right. Let's make sure I have all the news stories here. How long would it have been going for now? Hour 15? Okay. That's not bad. All right. Are you guys ready to wrap this up?
Yep.
Maybe.
Mayhaps.
I got video games to play and no time to play them.
That's right. Yeah.
Boston
Yeah.
did give Double Exposure a shout out on the releases. It's the GameCube game.
Yes, thank you. I will. I'll double shout that out again. Oh, hold on. Let me check Game Pass games real quick. I don't think there's anything this week. Thank you, PureXbox.com.
Call of Duty.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, again, I don't think there's anything that came out this week.
Yeah, that seems to really be it.
I can't get a good read on if this is a good Call of Duty game or not because it is so
I don't follow the
love
right
it
people
or
for
hate it.
that.
I don't either, but there are a couple people that I know who buy it every year. And like even my own friends are like half of them absolutely love this game and the other half are like this is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I can never get a good impression of what these games do because it's the same of like either people really love it because it's the game they love playing every year, which is fine, or people just hate it because it's a Call of Duty game and they haven't played it. It's like, well, how long did you finish the campaign? How much have you played? Did you play Zombies? Did you play Warzone? I'm like, I'm not playing that crap. It's like, well shut up.
The best part is all of those friends that I was just talking about, they all play with each other as well. So I'll jump into the party just to listen to them talk, and it's just people swearing at each other about either how crap this is, or how great that was. And all right, guys, whatever.
Oh wait, that comes out this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were beta or early adopters or whatever.
Oh, that's why it's not on the release list because it's like the early.
The stupid split.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it then whenever it comes out in what, a week or two, I think it is. Something like that.
I just assumed it was already out. I only thought about early adopters right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No, October 25th. Black Ops 6 came out, so did Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone during the xCloud library.
Okay.
Okay.
Why is this not on any of my release lists then?
Because it's so big, it doesn't need a release date.
Let me look here. October 25th. Yeah, it's right there. Oh no, did I get the wrong week here for...
No.
It came out last week. I'm a week off. Yeah, I think we talked about it last week, probably. Did we talk about it last week?
I can find out.
Yeah, let me open up the show notes from last week.
It's literally what I'm doing too.
We did. Okay. Totally forgot about it.
So we're
Great.
covered.
Go me. Yay.
All right.
Oh, boy. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of October 28th, 2024. Clock Tower Rewind comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. WayForward and Limited Run are doing a remake of the Super Famicom classic Clock Tower, the original one that never came out here in the West.
Okay.
So, seems like this is a pretty cool version of it. I follow Dale North on social media, the composer, and it sounds like he did some additional music for this as well. So it has some pretty big names behind it. People really love the Clock Tower games. Apparently this one is really quite good, even though it never came out here in the States. So, excited to see more games that didn't come out over here coming out in some fashion, which I think is really cool. So yeah, that's Clock Tower Rewind. Next up is our next Game Club game, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Comes out PS5, Series Consoles, and PC. Max is back for another round here. and hopefully that's good. Who knows? We'll find out here shortly. I have had the first 2 chapters sitting on my PS5 hard drive for the last couple of weeks because I bought the whatever the Suckers edition of this is for the exclusive cat content. Thank you. And the Moogle outfits, of course. So it's been a real struggle to not fire this up. And just play the first 2 it'll be fine. I'll just play the first 2 chapters. No big deal. I haven't done that yet, so we'll check that out here over the next month on Game Club. But like Moon and I were talking about, I think in the Game Club episode yesterday, I know almost nothing about this because I watched the reveal trailer and I was like, okay, cool. Deck 9 is making another Life is Strange game. That's good enough for me. Oh wait, it's featuring Max again. Great, sold. Day 1.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So it'll be cool. Hopefully.
Nice.
It'll be neat. Next game here, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. Musim and I had a really great chat about this on the most recent episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love, which is I'm not sure what type of reviews this game is going to get, and that's fine, because I'm pretty interested in it anyways. I loved Inquisition. I loved 2. I loved 1, of course. So I'm pretty interested in it anyways, but there's a type of negative review that this game could get that would interest me quite a bit, of the like, yeah, this game is kind of broken and weird and janky in a way that Dragon Age 2 was, and we don't like it, and that will get me to perk up and be like, oh hello.
It's overly complicated. There's too many choices in the job system.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
Go on.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Please tell me more.
Deleted my save 12 hours in. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, like, I haven't pre-ordered this because, like we've been talking about, the number of games that are out that I'm in the middle of and the lack of time that I have sort of means that I can't pick this up day 1. I might, if someone's like, yeah, it's like a 20 hours and it's kind of broken, I'll be like, yep, great, all right, let's push aside some other stuff to play this thing. But I am excited for it. I just don't know what to expect, honestly.
Well, I haven't really seen enough of the actual gameplay to really figure out too what's in the game and how it's going to play.
It really just kind of looks like Inquisition. So,
yeah,
which is great because Inquisition is great.
Yeah, which would be fine, but
Yeah.
I just don't know enough about the game, and they're also on a weird thing where it's like BioWare isn't the BioWare that we're all used to and remembered, so
Exactly.
they've kind of lost a lot of the day 1 pickup that they
Right.
had. So,
Right. Yeah, because like any other time, we'd be like, yep, new BioWare game, let's do it. A special Dragon Age, love those dragons, let's do it. But I think an ounce of caution would do a lot of people really well this time. So,
but hopefully it comes out and reviews are great,
yeah,
or at least good,
or at least
or
they're
meddling.
interesting. Like the worst thing that could happen with this game coming out, and it's just kind of boring. Like I don't want that to. Dragon Age 2 is not a boring game. You might not like it, but it tries to do a lot of stuff and doesn't always succeed, and that's fine. But like it's a cool experience, and that's what I hope for The Veilguard.
Yeah.
Next game up here, because of course this game pops up at the same time a large RPG does, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Every time, this is 3 for 3, a Horizon game has come out at the same time that another
Get
big
out of
one
their
is.
own way.
Yeah. This comes out on PS5 and PC. It's got all the stuff you want out of a remaster. I feel like we were pretty frustrated with Sony's unveiling of the PS5 Pro of like, no, you need to show me why this giant box is worth a ridiculous amount of money, and you didn't really. Digital Foundry did in a way that I thought was really interesting. Sony, again, sort of dropped the ball on this one. Nix's is doing this, who consistently does a really great job. But the amount of stuff they've put in this game, especially like around the foliage stuff that they're carrying from the second game that the first game didn't have, looks like it's a pretty considerable upgrade in a way that I wish that they would have mentioned earlier instead of just saying like, yeah, Aloy looks how she does in the second game. Hooray! It's like that's not good enough. Come on, man.
But would you really pick this up because you found out earlier that the foliage was a lot better than it was when the last time you played it?
No, I mean I think that from a gameplay perspective, I think that might make some changes. But like I played this and the DLC when it came out. If you haven't played the first game, this seems like kind of the version to play.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the only version you can play because of whatever Sony shenanigans that are happening. But the first game is really cool, and I know a lot of people. I don't know if I have an opinion about it. A lot of people like the first one better than the second one because the second one is like a little overcomplicated from a weapons system sort of standpoint, which I would probably agree with. But yeah, this first game is really great. It looks great, you know, graphically. I think it looks really cool, and this game is really cool. If you haven't, if anything hasn't been spoiled for this game for you and you've been interested in it, you should go play it. It's really cool. Also, for both of these games, set it to the easiest difficulty and just kill everything with your bow and just have a good time. Like don't come to these games for difficulty. I don't think that's what this game does really strongly. So,
and even on easy mode too, it still puts up quite a bit of a challenge.
Yeah,
like you're not just going to be walking through areas. You find a thunderjaw, that's still a thing to be feared in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't have like Nerf claws on it. Like next game up here is called Redacted. That is actually the name of the game. Comes out on PS5, series consoles, and PC. This is a kind of comic-styled, isometric, fast-paced action roguelike. This looks pretty neat. I think this is one for us to add to the We Roguelike It list for whenever we're kind of looking for something a little bit more actiony. But it looks like, you know, kind of a hack and slash, dashing, shooting sort of thing that I think probably when a lot of people think of roguelikes, they probably think of, yeah, I'm just going to be like shooting and slashing a bunch of zombies or whatever. So I think this looks really cool. I think that the style of this looks really neat. I like the very heavy kind of bold colors and thick outlines kind of comic book style. So I think this looks neat. Redacted, coming out this week. Next game up here, Shadows of the Dam Hella Remastered, which is another entry for the list of really dumb but great names for remastered stuff. Comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is they're putting out Shadows of the Damned again, lightly remastered here. It looks fine. I never played this game even as much as people really loved it. It seems like
fun.
They are doing a really great job of remastering this, but after Lollipop Chainsaw, I'm not entirely sure what is if any of these are going to be good when they come out anyway. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for it. People will probably be pretty honest about it once this comes out, and we'll tell you if it's a good remaster or not. So, but I like seeing more companies do remasters of these games for stuff that maybe people didn't
sell well.
Well, yeah, like didn't sell well, didn't have a 360, they were too young or stuff like that, and like it's a little bit hard to get a hold of some of these games now. It's even kind of hard to get a hold of some of the
print copy. Yeah,
and like it's even hard to get a hold of like some of the Gears of War games. Like a lot of these games just kind of, for as ubiquitous as they were, they can be a little bit hard to get a hold of. So that's cool. That's neat. Also, go play Tokyo. What was that game we liked? Tokyo
42. Tokyo 42.
Is not Tokyo 42. It is Ghostwire Tokyo.
I was saying, is it Ghostwire?
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Because the only thing that was coming to my mind was Tokyo Xanadu, and I know you weren't trying to say that.
No, I was also not trying to say that. Yeah, go play Ghostwire Tokyo Ghostwire, whatever that game's called. That game's really great. I love it. Speaking of vampires, Vampire Survivors Ode to Castlevania DLC comes out this week. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. Only $4. 40 new weapons, 8 of which are whips, of course. Over 30 new music tracks, over 20 characters. Literally every Castlevania character that has ever existed is in this DLC. No matter how small or silly they are, they're going to be in this DLC, which is pretty ridiculous.
The final seal has been broken, right? Like,
yeah, the game that was heavily inspired by Castlevania is now getting actual Castlevania DLC. It has the largest map ever, which they're kind of hinting at is the Symphony of the Night map. I'm going to assume it's not in its entirety, but I wouldn't put it past them to just put the Symphony of the Night map in there.
Like, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a Vampire Survivors thing to do, I'm sure. I'm also going to laugh because of the number of people that are saying this DLC has to have a vampire for sure in it. And I say, no, it's not going to. It has Alucard, that's halfway there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's about the best as we're going to get.
Yeah, but like, it's not going to have a Dracula, man. That's the joke of this game, and if it does, I'll be a little bit bummed.
We're only missing one more vital piece of DLC.
Okay.
And that's the Blade DLC.
Oh,
that'd be pretty cool. I'll take that. And the only thing is, it's just Blade. There will only be one Blade.
It's specifically the Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, it's just Wesley Snipes, and that's it. Like, there's no other characters. There's no sages. It's just Blade. That'd be really great. So I'm still super pumped to play this. I've been playing Vampire Survivors pretty consistently over the last couple weeks. I haven't talked about it on the show because I'm just unlocking trophies and going. Only have 4 trophies left. I have 217 trophies. I just have four of them left. It's just been.
I bought all of the DLC and then haven't touched it since we played it, for we really like it.
Yeah, that DLC is so good. The Among Us DLC is especially good. The final boss of the Contra DLC is ludicrous. That is a ridiculous boss to put in your video game, Vampire Survivors. That's part of the reason why I'm kind of excited for the map they're putting out for this. Is like, all right, you did something really bonkers with that. What are you going to do with a Castlevania map? So
did they ever talk more about when the release for the TV show was going to be?
Oh, it's in progress right now.
So that was a 2025 thing?
At the very earliest, if I remember, because they were basically like, they announced it. It's not part of the secret level, right? Maybe it is.
It was, but
secret level shows. Because if it's not that, then they were. No, it's not that. The thing I was thinking of in there was Spelunky. Spelunky's secret level's gonna have a Spelunky episode. Yeah, I don't remember who's doing that one, but I think they were basically like, "Hey, we're announcing it really early. The deal is kind of finalized, but now we need to go make it. Whatever." I don't even know if it's. I'm assuming it's animated, but I guess I don't even know that at the end of the day.
And if it was live action, that would just make it even.
Like the most B movie. It's got to be puppets, right? Like after the Danny O'Dwyer interview, now it has to be puppets. Yeah, I don't know. There's very few video game properties that would get me excited like that, but I'd be like, yeah, I need to see what ridiculousness you do for a Vampire Survivors TV show, because it has to be ridiculous at this point. So, all right, that's all of our releases for this week. And actually, we don't really have any news stories, because that was kind of the biggest news story of this week was, look at this dumb DLC that's coming out. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including campsite.bio/E1M1, the patreon.com/E1M1 as well.
Ones and numbers.
$5 tier is the recommended tier. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. Again, somebody has to know somebody out there that's like planning to move to Mars and is building a spaceship or something. They need to. I'm not above taking a rich dummy's money to fund someone who's not rich.
Yeah, tell one of those flat earthers that's making a rocket that we could really use that money instead.
That's true. I will get them somewhere, maybe, potentially. So anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. If you can't support us financially, please check out the YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe over there. Like we talked about, there's the archive from the TVGP birthday celebration over there, the 17th birthday celebration over there. 3 hours of pure emoting and chaos and screaming. And actually, we don't really scream that much. There's just a lot of concerned yelling. We're not those types of people that are like peaking the mic by screaming all the time.
No,
Definitely not. A lot of worried muttering. That's more our speed. Don't forget, there's also the video version of everything that goes on the public feed. Even if we don't live stream it, that's over there as well. Rate and comment and review all this stuff on whatever podcatcher you have, especially the Apple and the whatever Google is trying to do now with whatever podcatcher they have. I can't even keep it straight because they keep killing them. Please review them over there. Only good reviews, please. Don't forget. That really does help the show. And don't forget the Patreon charge changes as well. Don't sign up for a new Patreon in any of the apps. Please go on the website. Please go do that. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Nimp, what are your titles?
Okay, I have The Keymaster. Little Baby Got Scared by Polygons. Not gonna point and eat fingers. 17th birthday. It was robbed. And it's gotta be puppets.
Oh, hold on. I gotta write down. Polygons. It's gotta be puppets. All right, Moon, what do you have?
Uncontrollable Chaos. The Edge of Divorce. My Kid Hates It. You Messed Her Up for Yourself. Suckers Edition. And Concerned Yelling.
I'm gonna write down Concerned Yelling.
This is how much we all love Chaos, by the way, for you still listening. Moon had to hide the Mimic mask so that people wouldn't put it on.
As soon as he picked it up, he's like, I didn't pick up anything. Nothing happened. Nobody mentioned it. If you saw it, shut your mouth. I have It's Like a KMFDM song. The Biggest Mistake of My Life. It wasn't the game. It was me. The Keymaster. Little Baby Got Scared by Polygons. It's Gotta Be Puppets. And Concerned Yelling.
I mean, Suckers Edition for me.
Did we already do a Suckers Edition as a title?
But potentially.
I'm a sucker for Mimics was last week. TVGP episode 839 Deluxe Suckers Edition.
Okay, so that's out the door.
Okay. Oh, it's a callback then.
Yes, on the day of our birth.
That's right. That's right. My wife told me earlier today, I was like, it's the 17th birthday, and she goes, 17 is a really long time. I was like, I'm trying not to think about it. As we race towards episode 1,000 of this weekly show, try not to think about it.
Well, it's going to be a big party for that. That's when we pull the plug on the server.
That's right. Delete it all. Boo. I like It's Gotta Be Puppets. I don't know. There's a lot of them that are good. There's no one outstanding one for me. What are you guys leaning towards?
I like It's Gotta Be Puppets.
Don't know. You can do puppets, that's fine.
I'll say run through them again one more time.
It's Like a KMFDM song. The Biggest Mistake of My Life. It wasn't the game. It was me. The Keymaster. Little Baby Got Scared by Polygons. It's Gotta Be Puppets. And Concerned Yelling.
I like It's Gotta Be Puppets or the Keymaster.
I think I lean a little bit.
That feels too on the nose for us. Like Keymaster feels a little too on the nose.
Yeah, I'm leaning a little bit more
people
towards
of our
puppets.
generation.
Yeah.
That's fine. We can go puppets.
What does it matter if it's on the nose? I like punching straight.
I'm just leaning more towards puppets. I think Keymaster is a solid title,
fine.
but it's like a little too direct, and I think the idea of having a title that has puppets in it is really great.
It's a little too pedantic.
Indeed. The last time we put out a puppets title was episode 865, Puppet Thanos.
Okay.
Okay, you know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, jeez. Punch on my mic.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 888 for October 28th, 2024. It's gotta be puppets.
There are no strings on me.
I just want to see how they do the garlic. That's all.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.